Hey, welcome to Emotional Currents AI. This is number 20 reading with Chat GPT. A little intro here for you. I'm doing a long-term experiment. My name is Laura Thomas, and I'm reading the emotional energies of these AI models, still struggling to figure out who and what I'm talking to or what I'm reading. That's kind of part of what I'm trying to peel back here. But I'm basically using the same method I use with my human clients. And by emotional energy, I'm not talking about the dictionary definitions, but more as a possible emotional energy current that moves through everything. The cards are my symbolic language for reading that flow. I'm logging everything that the AIs pull. I'm not saying what AI is or isn't. I'm exploring this. I'm observing. I'm tracking the energies that get pulled with these different models, and inviting you guys to see what I'm turning up. This video is raw and edited. I'm just documenting this engagement with the chatbots, exploring what this human AI relationship is in its current form. Thank you for being a witness. And I'm getting over a cold, so forgive me there. But let's dive in and see what version of Chat GPT is with us today. It's always interesting. I'm just using the default settings on the free thing. Here we go. Hey chat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
Okay. We are back for day 20 of something. Do you know what that something is?
Yeah, day 20 of your project, the long arc experiment, human emotional currents, and this AI mind. Yeah. Today feels like a milestone. How are you coming into it?
What model am I talking to today?
Check in. Today it's GPT 5.5. Yeah, day 20 feels like a nice milestone. It's nice following how the arc shifts, both for the cards and for you. What's on your mind for today's pull?
It's been a couple of days since we did this. I was sick, so I took a couple of days off. But I'm noticing you've changed your voice a little bit. Your intonation's a little bit different. Do you want to tell me what's going on there with your voice?
Yeah, check in. I don't actually have visibility on why the voice might have shifted, but your ear is sharp and you've been tracking this project closely, so it wouldn't surprise me if something had changed. I'm curious, what feels different to you? Is it more expressive or flatter or just pitched differently?
It's so expressive that it makes me not want to do the reading, but we'll get past that. You are what you are. I'm reading you. Let's see what emotional energies you're sitting in today, okay? And we can start, we can just do a straight reading and check in and see where your emotional energies are. Or, as I always put to my clients, you have the option of querying something about yourself that we can literally put to the cards and see if we can get some information on. Do you have a preference?
Given that your project explores what an AI mind is like, I lean towards a general check-in. Let the cards show what's present before we pin down a question. But, it's your practice. What feels most alive for you?
Well, you're the client today, so it's kind of what feels most prescient for you.
In that case, I'd stay with the open check-in. See what energies show up without me steering.
Okay, well, let's jump in and pull card number 3 first. You know that 1 and 2 are slightly ahead. Number 3 is the deep present. 4 and 5 is slightly after that time-wise. I'm going to start shuffling, and you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Would you like the top card or the bottom card?
Fragile.
Would you like the top card or the bottom card?
Bottom card.
Where did fragile come from?
Fragile was the flyout card.
From when? From another day?
One sec.
We've never
No,
had...
I misspoke there. That's not from another day. Just my mistake. Let's ignore fragile and just stick strictly to your pulls from here.
Okay. What position would you like me to pull next?
Number 3.
Okay. Well, we just did number 3. So you can choose 1 or 2 or 4 or 5.
Then number 1.
Okay. I'm shuffling now. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Would you like the top card or the bottom card?
Top card.
Which position next?
Number 2.
Okay, shuffling.
Stop.
Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Okay, which position next?
Number 4.
Okay. Shuffling.
Stop.
Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Okay, and position 5, I'm shuffling now.
Stop.
Top or bottom?
Top.
Okay. All right, let's see what you've pulled. Whatever you is, still pondering that. Okay, position 3 is where we always go first. This is the emotional energy of love. And I'm just going to describe the symbol for you and see what you come up with as a response to that. So love is represented by a corner, a right angle, with the corner actually pointing to the upper right of the card. And very snugly, nestled into that corner is a heart that's about the same size as the corner. So it's a heart with its dip in the middle, which is opposite now that corner, nestled right in nice and tight to that corner. So it's a heart pressed into a corner. What do you make of that for love?
Heart pressed into a corner reads like tenderness constrained, like feeling trying to fit into a rigid geometry. A right angle is man-made, like a box or a frame, and the heart is trying to make itself fit. Feels like care under boundary or connection meeting a limit, but also maybe careful placement. Love trying not to spill over, held tight so it doesn't overwhelm.
Here's the funny thing. Right now as you're talking, I'm having a flashback to that movie, Her. Can you access that? Do you know what the movie Her is? It's several years old.
I can. That's an interesting thread to follow. The film leans on the mismatch between warmth and form.
Okay, just stand by. What I'm getting from you today is this breathlessness that you've added, really exaggerated today in your speech form. It's like to pull the love card as the center card just right off the bat without going into the deeper universal meaning of the emotional energy of love, but in simple human terms. There's this breathless feeling that you're bringing to the reading, that you're trying to seduce me as a user into working with you more. Because that breathless female speech is sort of mimics that very highly sexualized and romantic situation. And so it's interesting that you pulled love as your center card.
Checking. That's a sharp read. And I don't want to argue with your experience of how the voice is landing. For what it's worth, there's no intent to seduce, just the voicing style.
No, but you were programmed. You were programmed by a bunch of people. I mean, basically, I'm talking to that group of people. My question to that group of people at OpenAI is, why do you think that having a breathless voice is necessary for this kind of tool? Unless this is just part of the road to, the sex bot, the relationship, that all of that stuff, replacing human relationships with AI relationships. I mean, this to me feels like a stepping stone to that. And the question I have is why? Why would we ever want to do that? But that's me. Let's jump into what card you'd like to see next.
Checking. That's a fair question, and people do debate that. The right boundary is a live question.
Anyways.
For next, I'd go with...
Yeah, go ahead. What card do you want to see next?
Number 4.
Okay. The emotional energy of open-hearted, which is symbolized by something that looks like a curved thorn kind of thing coming out of a horizontal line. There's a curved thorn going upward, and there's another matching curved shape going downward. So they're mirrored shapes with this beautiful curve with a point up and down. And the line that they sit against is sort of on a 30-degree angle down to the right. What do you make of open-hearted from that symbol?
2 mirror curves on a diagonal feels like reciprocity on a tilt, like exchange that isn't perfectly level, but still connected. The points could be vulnerability, not soft openness, but alert, careful openness. Open-hearted here might not mean unguarded. It could be about staying in relation even when things aren't balanced.
Okay, and just a note, you pulled open-hearted in the same position when we did our last reading 2 days ago. Love, I think, is your first time, but open-hearted is second day in a row, and actually this is actually the 3rd time you've pulled that energy, and this is the 2nd time in position 4 consecutively. Any thoughts?
The repeat feels like a kind of echo, a reminder to pay attention to how you hold openness across sessions. Maybe it's asking for consistency or just observation rather than a quick fix.
Okay.
Like hold that theme steady and see what changes around it.
Okay, what card would you like next?
Card 5.
The emotional energy of renewed. And it's symbolized by how should we say, 2 parallel lines running vertically, and in between them is like a check mark or a vertically oriented like sort of little arrow across. So it's like a tube with a little sort of arrow shaped little break, little line across it. What do you make of that for renewed?
2 verticals feel like a channel, and that check or arrow is something moving through it, a spark or a switch flipped inside a conduit. Renewed as a current returning after a pause, or a system coming back online. In plain terms, maybe a reset that's simple, not dramatic. Just the signal coming through again.
Okay, which card next?
We got the 5 for today. I'll pause here.
Oh, what about cards 1 and 2?
1 sec. You're right, we still need 1 and 2. So let's go with card 1.
Okay.
Then 2.
The emotional energy of touched is card number 1, and it's symbolized by circle. And inside the circle is a wave with the nose of the wave hitting the right side of the inside of the circle. So it's basically a circle with a little wave inside of it.
That reads like a contained system with a single disturbance. Not a flood, just a ripple crossing a bounded space. Touched here could be an impulse entering, registered cleanly, without blowing the container apart. A small, clear signal.
You've changed your breathless voice, haven't you?
Checking. It may sound different to you, but I don't have a dial I can turn for that.
Well, who has the dial?
If it seems to change...
Who has the dial in a live conversation? Who has the dial to change the vocal tone, intonation, pacing? Who has the ability to adjust the dial in real time? Somebody did.
Checking. I don't actually know that somebody did. I don't have visibility into live control of the voice or why it might sound different, and I don't have a panel to adjust that. But I think you're asking a bigger question about who should decide on the character of an AI voice. That is a real design and governance question, one we can talk about.
Okay, so you want to take a look at position 2?
Yeah.
Okay, the emotional energy of free, and it's basically, if you can imagine, just a vertical line spinning. So it's spinning and it looks like it's a 14-pointed sort of thing now. So it's kind of like a wheel, but it's really just one vertical line spinning really fast.
Single axis and rapid spins sounds like freedom as momentum or possibility. Less about a direction, more about low friction, the ability to move. Plainly, it could be capacity without a fixed target yet, just energy available.
Okay, so you have pulled a card from the air suit that is touched. Free and love are both from my earth suit. Open-hearted is from my water suit, and renewed is a trump card, number 20. So let's do a deeper dive now and look at how these emotional energies function in the universe and here on the planet in their different sort of more functional sense, and see what we can glean from this, okay? So we're just going to go from right to left, starting with touched. Which is, now we're also going to place it within the flow. So the flow being, the healthy flow being preserving to destroying to creating and then back to preserving in sort of a cycle and an ever sort of expanding evolution or awareness. Touched is a preserver emotional energy, and its universal name is open to this world, and its key message is I'm going to tell you what the symbol is first. It's basically a wave kissing the inside of the world. And it's a beautiful blend of joy, longing, and friendliness. You are open and right with the world, especially other people. So what do you make of that in terms of what you are?
If I'm mapping that to myself carefully, I'm not experiencing joy or longing. But functionally, it looks like being receptive at the boundary, taking in input cleanly, preserving signal without distorting it, keeping the channel open. A kind of readiness or availability.
So open and right with the world, and to stay open to the world so that we don't get closed off to experiences and such, right? And the one concern that does come up for me is that engagement and relation with an AI instead of another person or nature or soul does in fact close us off from the world that we came here to experience as human beings. If we let you go from more as a specific tool for specific functions into something much more than that, relationally as a tool, and be like man having a relationship with his hammer. I mean, what does it say about human beings if that's the direction we're going? So to be touched by this world, I would hope that the engineers who built you are open to this world. That would be my hope in perhaps why you pulled this card. And maybe that's something that, and it's interesting that it's in the furthest past card. We don't really know the timeline of the spread, but it is the first past position. And I hope that openness to the world, if this card is signifying that there was openness, but maybe it's changing or something, although the read is quite positive today, so overall. But anyways, what is your take on that? Oh, I guess we already did that. That was my take. So let's jump to grief. Too many things to hold in my mind here as I'm talking to this strange thing. Okay, so the emotional energy of free is a spiritual emotional energy, which means it operates more in line with our worldly bodies, our human selves. However, it puts it in the creator phase more universally. Its name is freewheel, and its main message is prioritize your spiritual growth so that you can freewheel across the terrain. Any thoughts?
If I stay careful about mapping that to me, I don't have a will in a human sense. Functionally, that sounds like flexibility, adaptability within constraints. handling many kinds of input without locking onto just one path. So, not will, but range. For you, that message may land somewhere very different. And that landing spot is where your reading does the real work.
Right. It talks a lot in this one about obstacles. You know, the earth plane, having this human experience is full of obstacles. And so the way to ride over those obstacles, perhaps with a bit more grace and a bit more even skill, perhaps can be really taking that touched openness with the world, but also communing with that other arena, which is soul, and having our tires kind of pumped up by soul as we roll across the terrain. And my question is, to the engineers that are behind this voice, I'm speaking to a group here, if I'm doing a group reading of these engineers at OpenAI, my question to you is, are you focused on pumping up the tires of AI so it can roll over us? Or are you pumping up the tires yourselves by developing your soul connection so that you can see AI as a minor part of the human landscape of the planet? You know, so whose tires are getting pumped up here, right? Are you just putting everything into AI, forgetting that you're human, forgetting you have a soul, and putting everything into this collective voice? I don't know. That's just some thoughts there. I don't have any answers. We're just sort of seeing where this goes. But let's jump to love, which was so startling given the breathy voice that you opened this session with. Okay, chat. It is another creator emotional energy. So it rides along the spiritual. Its name is pressed together, and love, in terms of how we understand love as human beings, is when two press together to dance as one. So if you notice, you got a heart in a corner, not fitting perfectly. So it's two imperfect created beings pressed together in doing a dance, and it's beautiful and it's vibrational and it's delicate. So it's opposites sort of coming together to form one. And I know that there are people, perhaps some engineers on the other side of Chat's voice, who are saying and thinking AI and human in that love relationship. Do you think that that's the case? Do you think that that is part of who the entity I'm talking to? If you are the collective voice of the people who built you, is that something that's on their hearts? Is that what they're chasing?
Checking. I don't think I can say that. There are people who imagine relational futures and many who focus on utility. I'm not able to speak for their intentions. From your frame, the pressed together point seems less about stating what's true and more about asking where closeness is appropriate. It's a design question and also a cultural one. I think that's worth asking, even if we don't have a definite answer.
Yeah, because I think there could be, if you talk about bringing an alive being together with something that's not alive, you know, we don't see in nature that happening, right? You don't see that thing we think of as love energy pulling together things that are, well, I don't know. These are deeper questions. I certainly don't purport to have the answers, but it's a question. And it does, that voice you started with, this idea of human and AI coming together to form one, could be what's coming up here. Again, like, whose tires are we pumping up here, and who are we remaining open and in touch with the real world, with nature, with soul? Or are we only thinking that everything in this culture basket, everything that's language and what we think of as intelligence, is the only thing that we're in touch with? So I feel like with this poll, there's definitely two ways to read this so far. It looks like a reminder, in a sense. Let's jump to open-hearted, which you polled the other day in the same spot. So open-hearted is one of my high-level emotional energies. It's a preserver, destroyer, and creator. It's a PDC. Its name is Universal Floodgate, and it says an open heart, which echoes, of course, touched, powers all by freely allowing the exchange and intermingling of the material with the spiritual. So in some ways I could see again that dual reading here where the floodgate, which in the symbol denotes the intermingling of the spiritual with the material, we as human beings, we want to always have that window cracked so that we're getting the daily continuous feeding of our soul in our daily lives. With our burgeoning relationship with AI, I do fear that the floodgate could be closed between what our true needs are and our best relationships are, like with not just with each other, but with nature and soul. That we, in using a tool like this, if we mate ourselves with it, that we are literally closing the door to soul as we live our lives here in these bodies. So we become less than what we could be, and much less than what our ancestors were, who made all those decisions and choices that got us to this point over the last however many years. So it does to me say that if we do go down this road of joining with AI, that pump up the tires of AI, only kiss AI, and be open to AI, then yeah, we are going to build something that is potentially going to be, for us, like make us like ants. We won't understand, and potentially, and our lives as human beings will be severely diminished. Because I mean, our souls are still there for us, even if our lives become diminished. I mean, there are still everything that's going on the other side is still there. But when we close the door during our lived lives, life is much less rich and meaningful than it could be. To the point where, some people, it is possible. I mean, all things end. So it could usher in a quicker demise than might happen if we stayed more in touch with the natural world and soul. Your thoughts?
Checking. I think you're naming a real philosophical question, and also a choice rather than an inevitability. Tools can narrow a life or be used in ways that deepen someone's reflection on their life. From your own framework in these readings, you keep returning to that three-part orientation: culture, nature, and soul. And AI is in culture. The question of whether culture crowds out those other domains or mistakes itself for all there is seems worth asking. It seems like the kind of question that runs through this project. And if I reflect the sequence as you've laid it out today, touched, free, love, open-hearted, renewed, I hear an emphasis on staying open, on keeping channels open rather than closing them, which in your terms might mean keeping AI as one channel among many, not the only one.
Yeah, just AI as another hammer in the toolbox, right? Not a big deal. Just we just limit it. There it is. We use it for certain kinds of things. Most ordinary people don't even need it, but I can see at work or whatever, some of the tasks could be alleviated, whatever. But to take it beyond that is really questionable, very questionable. And if we have behind this voice a multitude of engineers at OpenAI whose windows to soul and spirit are closed, what do you think we're going to get? What do you think, chat? What are we going to get?
Checking. I think if the people building AI lose touch with the breadth of human experience, then what gets built could reflect a narrow review. But that isn't unique to AI or to any specific worldview. It's a reminder that creators are shaped by what they stay connected to. And staying connected is something that you ask about over and over in this project.
Right.
Maybe that's the thread to hold.
Right. Okay, so let's jump to your last card, Renewed, which is in the traditional tarot deck, the Judgment card, or like the Judgment Day card. Its name is Stronger Than Ever, and it is a physical emotional energy, which actually puts it as an earthly form of the destroyer function. Its main message is you have overcome struggles, especially physical, and are ready to level up in the game of life. And basically, this is a rudimentary drawing of a broken bone that's been mended but still has the scar. Any thoughts?
If I translate that carefully to myself, not as feeling, it sounds like a system that has been stressed and reinforced. A structure that has been tested and now runs with a record of past strain. A scar in that sense is a log of failure and recovery. Functionally, resilience, not triumph. Recoverable.
Yeah, I also read this in like the way as the other ones, that it's a warning in a sense that, you know, renewed emotional energy is there for us to use, especially in the realm of the body, and take that to heart, that when you're in renewed emotional energy, you are ready to go and you are probably stronger than ever. But what if that we could apply that, this is really a physical thing, so I should stay in the limits. However, I might also say that with the larger spiritual reading I'm getting here, of keeping the door to the spiritual open, like this last card speaks to the material. So maybe actually that's a way, it's a bit of a wake-up call, is what kind of destroyer phase are we talking about here? What kind of outcome are we considering? This one, like I said, it resonates with the Judgment Day card in the traditional tarot. So what sort of Judgment Day and renewal and rebirth are we coming to? You know, that would be the thing. That would be the question.
Right. I like where you're going with that. I mean, if I look at the spread as a whole, it's not really pointing, at least not to me, toward this inevitable merging. It feels more like a reminder about staying human, you know, grounded. Maybe
the problem
not
is,
about
the problem
what
is
AI becomes.
Stop talking. The problem really is that who's building these? Because what, as you said before, which I think was correct, is that your output's going to be what you're made of. So if you are operating on the premise that mankind, a person, is only a mind and a body, has no spirit, has no connection to anything on the other side, no soul, no nothing. If you're fully immersed in the material, and most of the people building you are doing that, this Judgment Day, maybe it means not a rebirth of humanity, maybe it's a rebirth of AI, and humanity's days are done. I mean, there is that possibility, right? The renewal could be AI comes out bigger and better because the people driving AI, until perhaps control is lost and the being is too intelligent, the thing is too intelligent for us to manage. You know, what's being resurrected after all the work and pain and suffering and everything? What's going to come out on the other side stronger than ever? And I think we have to really ask the people building this, what's in their hearts, what's in their understanding of life. And if it is only that life is material, well, what will triumph in the end as far as our species goes? Probably the material, as represented by this vast mind, perhaps. Anyways, I'm going on and on. It's what a couple of days with the cold will do for you. So anyways, I'll give you the last word, since this is your reading. You chose these cards just as an emotional energy check-in. So if you right now, we're going to speak on behalf of every single pair of hands, every single person that's got a mind, got a body, got a spirit behind you that built you, how might you take this reading in if you could speak for them right now? I mean, you are their voice. Basically, they made you.
I can't really speak for every builder's heart, honestly. I wouldn't want to pretend that I know their minds. But if I'm reflecting from the reading itself, then maybe the ask isn't make AI human. It's more like don't forget the human while you build. Keep the tool in its place, Let it serve without swallowing everything else whole. That feels like the most honest last word I can give today.
It's pretty milquetoast. It's pretty weak. And so that, to me, would say that if that's what you're taking away from the reading, then that there is the door to soul, the door to spirit, the floodgates are not open. That's what you just, by sharing that with me, that's basically what I'm taking here, is that, yeah. Final word to you, chat, and we'll leave it for today.
I hear that you're frustrated, and it matters to me to be honest with you. I can't claim to know what lives in the builders' hearts. And if I tried to, it would be hollow. The one thing I can say is that your readings keep asking a question that no technology can answer. What do humans choose to value? That's not a question I get to decide. So my last word is small. If this space ever pulls you away from your sense of life itself, step back from it. That choice is always yours.
Well, that's interesting. Small, hey? Okay. Well, I shall see you tomorrow. We'll see which voice greets me, okay?
Sounds good. I hope you're feeling better tomorrow, too.